But let's get into it.
Deadline is approaching for those who lost their homes in January's catastrophic Palisades fire. A program that allowed affected homeowners to suspend mortgage payments is ending. They may have to now pay tens of thousands of dollars in back payments all at once. KTLA's Eric Spillman, live in Pacific Palisades with more on that. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Frank. This is a terrible burden for people who've already been through a whole lot. We're in the Alphabet Streets section of Pacific Palisades. This is Jules Fawn, and behind her is a vacant lot, which is where her home once stood. It was here a year ago. It is not here now. You're in the process of rebuilding, and now we come to find out that the program that allowed you to pause your mortgage payments essentially is ending as soon as next month.
It is. It's really scary. The fact that I'm going to have to start paying my rent for the home I'm living in and for a dirt lot is, I don't know how it's going to happen. And I don't know how all these people are going to be able to afford it. It's irrational and really scary.
Let's show some pictures of your house as it existed a year ago. Beautiful house. You've been living there. You built it in 2012. And the way that this mortgage forbearance program worked is there was a state law. It said you could sort of not pay your mortgage or pause it for 12 months. Another factor about this program ending is that you owe a balloon payment in January, which is all the deferred monthly mortgage payments that you didn't pay over the last year. And that's a lot of money.
So our bank, City National Bank, did not do a balloon payment. They tacked it onto the end of the mortgage. But a lot of my friends, they're going to have to pay a giant sum along with our current rent. So they're going to have to take the money that they're supposed to be building their house with to pay all of this. I just don't know how it's going to happen. And these banks really need to think about, as fire victims, we didn't want to rebuild our homes. I was happy. I don't want to have to build another house. I was happy with my community, and now it's gone. And they should really think about us and give us a break.
I want to show you some pictures of what the Palisades looks like today. You have some homes being built, some construction taking place. It's kind of a patchwork. I would say most of the lots are still empty, maybe 80, 90%. They haven't started rebuilding. So this is really an important thing because it doesn't take a year to rebuild a home. It takes much longer than that, doesn't it?
It takes a long time. I mean, some people can't even afford to come back. They've got insurance issues. They've got money issues. There are going to be so many people rebuilding at the same time. So
Think about that, y'all. Think about that. You build a home, a beautiful home. It burns down. And then your insurance isn't coming through because you're supposed to have, when you buy a home, you got homeowners insurance, and that usually covers certain things. Now, it won't cover everything, but it covers certain things. And if it falls with outside that homeowners insurance, you got to cover it yourself. So if the house burns down and the insurance isn't paying for it, the only other option, because the debt is still on your name for however much that home cost. The debt is still on there. So you only got one option. You got one option, sell it. But what are you selling? At the end of the day, you're no longer selling a beautiful home that probably had a lot of mortgage payment on it or had a high home value. You're selling an empty lot, which you're not going to get enough to pay all that mortgage loan back. Wow. Yeah, you got to make sure you got good insurance. You got to. That's the only option. Make sure you got good insurance. Make sure your insurance covers it, because that'll be a nightmare. I can't imagine. Let's keep going.
their materials are going to be hiked up. The expenses are crazy. And
You're wrestling with your insurance company.
it's so overwhelming and just really scary time for all of us.
All right. I want to tell you about a campaign that's underway by some other Palisades residents to get the federal law changed to require banks to extend mortgage forbearance for not only fire victims, and we're not just talking about the Palisades fire, but also the Eaton fire as well. This is a web address. We want to put it up on the screen for you so you can get some more information. It's called disastermortgagerelief.com. This is the campaign that's underway to extend mortgage forbearance for up to 2 to 3 years, which is basically how long it might take to rebuild a home here in the Palisades. And Jules, I know as you were driving in here this morning, it's tough to come back here and see it.
It is. It's a giant sucker punch. You know, you drive in and it's flat. There's nothing here. My town, my community, and my home is gone. It's devastating.
They've started the grading here, and pretty soon I guess they'll start the framing.
They will. Thankfully, the permit process took a really long time. The mayor said they were going to fast track it, which it was not fast tracked. That was a whole process, but I can now breathe. I got my permit, and I'm in the next stage of rebuilding the next chapter of my life.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate it. Hope you get back into your house relatively soon. It's probably going to
Now, should they increase the forbearance period? I think it would be reasonable. I think it's reasonable because make the forbearance period as long as they're on point, and however long it takes for the house to be rebuilt. You don't have to you can still tack it on to the end, the payments that they missed, because technically they still own the lot, loan the land and all that good stuff. So yes, but make the forbearance periods as long as it takes to rebuild the home. But would the federal government pass that? I don't know. I have no idea. That is, or is it? It might be state, or most likely federal. But it makes sense to me to have a forbearance period as long as it takes to rebuild the home, because then you're just putting more due stress on the people. If you make it like a year, the home's not built, so now you got to pay rent and you got to pay mortgage, and then you're. But would the mortgage company even care? They're just gonna get the lot back, sell it to somebody else. That's a crazy situation, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let's see what else they're gonna say in
be another year, right?
At least.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for talking to us. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Eric, quick question for her. If most insurance companies provide for rental payments, is that only for a year, or does that at least help on the rent side while she's waiting for her home?
In her case, listen to this. She had State Farm up until October, 2 months before the fire. State Farm canceled her policy right before the fire, so she had to go on the California Fair Plan, which is kind of a bare bones insurance. So did they pay for your rent?
So I got a lump sum of $150,000 for rent, period. No matter if it takes me 2-3 years to rebuild, which that will run out.
Okay, let's do some quick math. So she got $150,000 lump sum. $150,000 lump sum. So this is what it is. California. This is Palisades. This is Palisades. Let's see. Palisades. Fire. Let's see average rent. Ooh. So let's see, Palisades, California, average rent is between 3,000. So it varies by property type. So 3,167 to 8,975. So let's take the average of that. That says 3,200. Say 3,200 plus 89. We're gonna do simple numbers here. 9,000 with an average so average of $6,000 a month. So at the 150,000 divided by, let's say 6,000. Let's see how many months that gets her. 25 months. So 25 months on the average of $6,000 a month gets you 25 months. And we already know, so that's 2 years. So it gives her 2 years of rent payments at the average price of $6,000. I wonder if I wouldn't think she has to pay tax on that, but still, is that enough time to rent until your house is rebuilt? That's the question. But it's a crazy situation no matter what. Crazy situation no matter what. Let's see. I think we got to the gist.
Really fast, but that's all I got. And for personal property, I got $150,000 for the entire inside of my house, which my kitchen costs more than that. So what are you going to do?
So you see the challenges that people who are rebuilding face. It's not easy.
Oh, so that's all the money she got. So to rebuild her home, that's all they're paying her?
And it sounds like a lot of money, $150,000. But if you have a household and have gone out there to see how much it costs to rent a house, especially on the west side, you understand that's not going to go very far. Certainly not going to cover the period of rebuilding.
More than 3 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. How do you feel about it? How do you feel? Yeah, I understand mortgage companies, like, yes, I understand them still wanting to get their money. I understand how they still have to charge you something, or they're good about that, put it onto the back rent or back mortgage. Okay, I can understand that. But the forbearance period to where you have to pay it, that is the question. Should the forbearance period be as long as it takes to rebuild the house? But I guess it has to have some kind of set timeline. So maybe they have to rebuild the house between a certain time. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and